As promised, it's time for the Big Lebowski.
All right, first review ever. Okay, the Big Lebowski was the I already fucked up.
It's cool. Continue.
Okay, here we go. The Big Lebowski is a 1998 film by the Coen brothers that stars Jeff Bridges, John Goodman, Steve Buscemi, and Julianne Moore. Now, I'm not fucking ready for this, but I think that's the point of on-the-spot reviews. All right.
That's the idea.
If you don't know what the Big Lebowski is, basically look it up.
You're an idiot.
All right. Now, the first time I saw this movie was around 5 years ago. It was actually shown to me in class.
Yeah.
And usually whenever you see a movie in class, you usually think to yourself, oh, great, we're going to have to do this, we're going to have to do an assignment on it, I'm going to end up hating the movie. And to my surprise, it's actually one of my favorite movies of all time. I've seen it multiple times, and I think it gets better every time I see it. We're going to go into the logistics of it, but what's your stance on it?
It's one of the best movies of all time, I would say. Not only because the story itself, I'm going to say right now, it sucks. It's a bad story.
It's absurd.
It's an absolutely absurd story. It makes no sense whatsoever. But it's not that. The acting is so superb. It comes second to none. Every single part is played to the T. It's just amazing.
If you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. The main character, who's played by Jeff Bridges, known as the Dude, basically, if you watch the movie and you've seen him play the role, you know that was the role that only one person can deliver. It's legitimately like you couldn't ask Brad Pitt to fill in the role for the Big Lebowski. It was just sort of a quality the actor took from his own personality and applied it to the acting role.
You know what's actually interesting about that, additionally? When you see a person in a certain movie, you kind of label them for the rest of their career as that certain person. Like,
it's true.
Like, think about Harry Potter right now. Like,
that's the first one I immediately thought of. I was like, you see Daniel Radcliffe in The Woman in Black, and you're like, Harry, use the Patronus spell!
I mean, like, right, and basically the same thing with Big Lebowski. Like, whenever I saw Jeff Bridges outside of the Big Lebowski, I'd automatically say, like, dude.
It's the dude.
He's the dude. I mean, he says man, and he's got like all his signature catchphrases in the movie. And I mean, every time you see him outside of it, you're just expecting him to say it.
Yeah, even back in 2009 when he won an Oscar for Best Actor in a Leading Role for Crazy Heart, he went and accepted the Academy Award, and in the process, he was like, "Well, this is a true honor, man," and it you just saw the dude personality right through him. It stuck with him, but I'm sure he enjoys it. He's embraced it, which is good. But let's admit it now, like everyone else is very good too. John Goodman's role.
John Goodman is perhaps one of the funniest characters in any movie I've ever seen in my life.
He plays one of the dude's best friends named Walter, who was he's a Vietnam veteran, and he labels himself as that quite clearly throughout the film.
He's essentially kind of psycho. I mean, there's this scene.
Yeah.
There's a scene. There's spoilers ahead. I don't want to ruin anything. But there's a scene where warning, spoilers. There's a scene where...
We'll let you guys know that.
Yeah, we'll tell you in advance so we don't want to ruin anything. Anyways, getting back to the story. But there's this scene where he's bowling. So throughout the whole premise of the movie, they're bowling. It's a big thing in the movie. But anyways, once you see it, you'll know. Anyways, so they're bowling. And a guy named Smokey, whom they bowl with, steps over the line. And apparently in bowling, it's like illegal to step over the line, or it's considered like no strike.
Your roll doesn't count. It's a foul, basically.
It's a foul, pretty much. And he steps over the line, and the guy refused to acknowledge that he had stepped over the line, the Smokey guy. And John Goodman pulls out his gun, and he says, "You're over the line. Don't count it. Don't count it."
He threatens him at gunpoint to mark his roll as 0 points, as if the roll was foul and 0 and didn't count.
And that's pretty much John Goodman's character. I mean, he's just psychotic, but you
This isn't important to the plot, by the way. That's part of the Big Lebowski. It's got a lot of scenes that are easily cut out.
It was very good. Anyways, so part 2. Welcome.
All right, last time you were talking about John Goodman's character.
So Okay, John Goodman's character, I labeled him kind of psychotic, but he was awesome. Anyways, so we're going to get to the third character. He is the least utilized character, I would say, but it's Steve Buscemi's character. Donnie.
Oh. This is an interesting little Easter egg hidden within the film, but I'll explain it, but go ahead. What's Donnie's character about?
Well, Donnie's character is essentially kind of like this bumbling... I wouldn't call him a dummy, but he's not particularly the smartest character. And he has a tendency of walking in on conversations, stumbling in on conversations, and he doesn't know what you're talking about, essentially. So anyways, Stephen will explain a little more.
He's not involved in the discussion or the issues at hand. He just sort of bumps in and goes, "Oh, what's going on, guys? Oh, you're talking about... What are you talking about? Oh, that's interesting." And he'll point out things which had already been clarified by the dude and Walter. And it's not like he's an annoying character. He just sort of tags along.
Yeah, and he's not like dumb either, as I mentioned earlier. He's not dumb, but he's just one of those inconvenient characters that's just kind of there, but he's so necessary to the story. Why do I say that he's necessary? Because he adds the element of satire. Like, I said Walter's a funny character, but Walter isn't half as funny without Donnie. Because, once again, once again, I'm going to have to say a little spoilers, but Walter is so funny with Donnie around. Because, as mentioned, Donnie walks in on scenes. He walks in on conversations. He walks in at random moments, and Walter has the most hilarious reactions. And this is what makes Walter just the funniest character.
Let's just say that Donnie's bowling at one point, and for already 5 minutes, Walter and the dude have been talking about the dude's rug being soiled. You'll understand if you see the movie. And basically, Donnie will walk in and go, "What are you guys talking about again?" And then, after it's already been established and they don't want to cover ground they've already covered, Walter would be like, "Were you listening to the dude's story, Donnie?" And he's like, "I was bowling." "So you have no frame of reference here, Donnie. You're like a child who wanders into the middle of a movie and asks, 'What's going on?'" Like, he's that sort of character. And Walter's humor sort of builds upon Donnie's existence, constantly telling him to shut the fuck up. Or, "You're out of your element. You have no point of reference here. Just stop talking."
So pretty much, So pretty much, major spoiler, but Donnie dies in the end of the movie. And
I think we need to put a video annotation ahead of time.
We definitely
will, don't worry.
Anyways, okay, so Donnie dies at the end of the story. And he dies in kind of the most ironic way, where the gang is pretty much in a tussle with another gang. So the dude's gang, Walter, Donnie, all their friends included, are in a tussle with another gang. And the scene ends with Donnie lying on the floor, and everyone's saying, "Oh, Donnie's been shot, when in reality, there were no gunshots fired, and Donnie had just
spontaneously had a heart attack.
Much. It's just crazy.
There's a lot of absurdist elements in this film.
But that's what makes it so great.
Yeah. It's just one big thrill ride.
I mean, to the very end. I mean, by the end of the movie, you're saying, what was this? And honestly, in my personal opinion, I say you have to give it at least 2 watches.
Two watches, definitely.
Definitely.
First time in class was just to cover absurdism. The second time was just to shoot the shit. And that's the reason it has become one of my favorite movies of all time. Great acting, great humor, very memorable scenes that'll blow your mind, dream sequences, moments with Aboriginal characters, nothing racist, but completely out of the ordinary. And when you watch the whole filming, you look back on what you just watched, there's sort of this element of, did it mean anything? Should it mean anything? Was anything resolved?
What the hell did I just watch?
But that's the beauty of the movie, is that it made you think. I saw it for the first time 5 years ago. I still talk about it. I still think about it. I still tell people to go see it.
Yes. With that being said, I definitely give it a rating of 10 out of 10. Definitely go see it. Big recommend on our parts.
Definitely.
So, with that said, we'd like to conclude our first review. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. So
I wish we had a White Russian to celebrate.
I
this.
really do. Oh man, those White Russians. Watch the movie, you'll know what that is. I'm not going to tell you. Anyways, so with that being said, we are now going to prep the next on the spot review, which we will do in a couple of minutes. Okay, so coin please, good sir.
All right. You want to do the flip?
I'll do the flip. I will call tails. Go for it. Flip that thing.
Oh, I'm flipping.
You
Okay.
flip it.
All right. So wait, what'd you call it?
I called tails.
All right. So I called heads. You want to catch it?
Yeah.
Ooh. What is it?
Tails.
Ooh. So that's you, right? All right.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Well, we're gonna review Game of Thrones next time on